At 5, the manhunt is over for the suspect in a violent attack and kidnapping, where investigators caught up with him.
And new information on an officer-involved shooting in Bluffdale. You're looking at a live look right now. We'll have a live report coming up. Michael Locklear is there. Join us at 5 o'clock.
This is breaking news from KSL.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. We begin with breaking news out of Bluffdale, where an officer shot and killed a man this afternoon. Bluffdale police just held a news conference.
They say around 11:45 this morning, their officers responded to a report of an aggravated assault at the Beacon Hill apartment complex. News specialist Michael Locklear is there with more. Michael, what are you hearing tonight?
One man is dead after he allegedly tried to strangle a teen and then later came back to confront police officers. Still a very active scene at this apartment complex in Bluffdale. And even in the past 15 minutes, we've seen more police cruisers arriving as a task force is now investigating this case. You're looking at the crime scene tape and the police cruisers here at the Beacon Hill apartment complex in Bluffdale. The information we're getting from the Saratoga Springs Police Department is that the man who died is 31 years old. And this whole chain of events actually started around noon today. Someone called police to report an aggravated assault. Now, when officers got here, they found a 17-year-old, a teen boy, who told them that he had been a strangulation attempt had happened. He had marks on his neck, and this conflict apparently happened with that 31-year-old man. Then an hour later, police say the 31-year-old man came back, confronted police, and had a weapon in his hand at that time. Officers tried some less lethal methods. They tried to tase the man, but the 31-year-old man had a weapon in his hand and was confronting police. Ultimately, an officer fired multiple shots at the man, and then medical officials later pronounced him dead at the scene this afternoon. That 17-year-old is doing okay, just has some marks on his neck right now, but again, a man dead, and a task force now investigating after this police-involved shooting here in Bluffdale. Live in Bluffdale, Michael Locklear, KSL 5 News.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Appreciate that.
Well, the search is finally over tonight for a man accused of stabbing a woman and kidnapping a 4-year-old child.
Yeah, police caught up with 20-year-old Jonathan Hidalgo this afternoon in Ogden.
She was stabbed multiple times and then thrown out of the car in front of a 4-year-old.
Police are still getting information about how everything happened, but so far they say the victim was babysitting her niece last night when she called her ex-boyfriend for a ride. Well, during that ride, he stabbed her and tossed her from the car. At some point, he abandoned the car and police found it without the child. An Amber Alert was sent out, and thankfully, she was found. At this point, police say she's doing well as can be there, while the victim is recovering from serious wounds in the hospital. Now, you only have 2 more weeks, if you can believe it.
The weather turns.
A warning from Draper Police, be on the lookout for animal traps. So far, 2 of them have been found near popular trails.
It just breaks my heart. It just makes me sad. We saw a little raccoon in a trap.
A cat was caught in the other trap, reported to Draper Police. They want to know who is setting them and why, but remind everyone it is illegal to trap within Draper city limits. And the big concern is these traps are close to popular trails. If you see a trap or a stuck animal, do not approach it, but call Draper City Animal Services. And speaking of animals,
KSL News at 10 starts now.
I passed out. She knocked me over.
a teenager nearly choked to death. The suspect later shot by police.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. A man is dead tonight after getting shot by police in Bluffdale. It all started with an aggravated assault against that 17-year-old boy. Tonight, you'll hear from that boy who says a gunman tried to strangle him. Michael Locklear has the victim's story, and he's live in Bluffdale. Michael.
And investigators are still here at the scene at this apartment complex in Bluffdale more than 8 hours after this deadly shooting took place. I talked to a dad who said this was scary. His 17-year-old son was blindsided by a neighbor who put both hands around his neck. That's the man who ended up being shot and killed by police. All of this happening this afternoon.
They followed him into the crib.
New cell phone video shows the moment an officer fired 2 shots, killing a 31-year-old man.
Well, the guy originally assaulted my son.
Police were at the Beacon Hill Apartments in Bluffdale investigating another crime involving the same man.
There's a mark right here.
Easton Lyon says the guy put both hands around his neck as he was talking to a friend through his apartment window.
He was like getting all crazy with me and saying, don't knock on that window, but like, I was like, what you gonna do about it? Then he just choked me out.
Easton knew the attacker. A neighbor says he was a nice guy. They used to work out together.
I was like, this guy's a whole different guy. Like, I didn't even know him like that. He was crazy. As I passed out when he was choking me, I think that scared him or something. So, yeah, I woke up and he was still choking me when I woke up.
An hour later, police say the man came back.
They followed him into the crib. Oh, they tased him. Oh.
Officers say the man confronted them with a weapon, and tasing him did not work.
The bigger question is why would he did what he did to begin with? And so, yeah, it's hard to know. I just emphasize that the suspect that was shot by officers does have a criminal history, including weapons violations.
Easton's recovering quickly.
I'm not stressing about it.
He's pretty tough. I think he'll do well. We're thinking to get a little bit of counseling there for him.
More questions about exactly that encounter with police, how that happened. Now, we understand that a team of outside officers is investigating this case. These are agencies from all over Salt Lake County, and the team is led by the Salt Lake City Police Department. Live in Bluffdale, Michael Locklear, KSL-5 News.
All right, Michael, strange story out there. Thanks for that report. Well, the search is over tonight for a man accused of stabbing a woman and kidnapping a 4-year-old child. Police caught up with 20-year-old Jonathan Hidalgo this afternoon in Ogden. Police are still getting information about how everything happened, but so far, they say the victim was babysitting her niece last night when she called her ex-boyfriend for a ride. During that ride, he stabbed her and tossed her from the car. At some point, he abandoned the car and police found it without the child. An Amber Alert was triggered, and thankfully she was found. At this point, police say she's doing as well as can be expected, and the victim is recovering from serious wounds in the hospital.
An evening walk turns traumatic for a woman.